Hello, my friends, again. I am so happy to be here with you, and I hope you're having a great day. I know I am. I'd like to start off today reviewing the 4 seasons that we experience during a full year. So let's start with the season that we're in now. And if you said fall or autumn, that would be right. That is the season that we're celebrating now. And then after fall and autumn comes, you're right, winter. Winter comes, and then after winter, the next season goes into spring, and then spring turns into summer. So those are the 4 seasons that we experience every year. And then the cycle starts all over again when that summer starts turning into fall. Throughout all of those seasons, farmers and gardeners around the whole world work really hard to grow crops. What are crops, you ask? All the word crops means is those are the plants that we grow for food. And this is the word here, crops. C-R-O-P-S. Can you say that? Crops? And again, those are just the plants, the different types of plants that we grow for our food. So for example, there's tomatoes, potatoes, celery, and beets, blueberries, carrots, lettuce, and wheat. I made a rhyme. And those are just all different types of crops. Just some of the different types of crops that are grown all around the world, the plants, crops for us to eat. So while different crops are harvested at different times of the year, our focus today is going to be on food plants, or crops, that are harvested in the fall. Let's learn a little bit more from our book today. The title of our book is Fall Harvest, Bringing in Food. All right. Yum! I help my dad make applesauce. We eat pecan pie and pumpkin bread every Thanksgiving. Some of my favorite foods are harvested in the fall, like apples and pumpkins and pecans. They're all ready to eat. But last spring, they all started off very small. I wonder what that means. In the spring is for planting. In spring, farmers plant seeds to grow food for people and animals. Tiny sprouts push out of the dirt. They will grow into pumpkins, turnips, potatoes, and corn. In orchards, apple and pecan trees blossom in the spring. And spring turns into summer, and summer is for growing. Leaves turn sunlight into food for growing plants. Roots gather water for thirsty plants. Slowly, plants change and grow. And what are those that are growing? Potatoes. Weeds and bugs can hurt growing plants. Weeds can crowd out growing crops, and bugs can eat growing leaves. Farmers and gardeners work hard to stop the weeds and the bugs. And then from summer, we turn into fall, and fall is for harvesting. Plants stop growing in the cool fall weather. Crops are ripe and ready for harvest. People harvest food using their hands or sometimes machines. That's a wheat harvester back there. Farmers harvest fruit from orchard trees in fall. People pick ripe apples and peaches by hand. Ripe pecans fall from pecan trees. Farmers sometimes use machines to shake pecans from trees. Harvest festivals. People around the world have festivals in the fall. The festivals are parties to celebrate all the food harvested that year. In Korea, people have the Harvest Moon Festival. They eat rice cakes and play games. Oh, that looks delicious, doesn't all those different colors? At the Yam Festival in Ghana, which is in Africa, people laugh and dance. They eat yams, walk in parades, and make music. Yams are a bit like what we think of as sweet potatoes. In North America, Thanksgiving is a time for family. Families eat big meals, watch parades, and play sports. In fall, the earth gets ready to rest. Farmers and gardeners get ready to rest too. I am thankful for the fall harvest. What is your favorite fall food? So I am sharing with you today one of my favorite fall harvest foods, and those are apples. Lots of different apples, and yellow and red and green, some green and red. We grow lots of apples in Oregon. The most common is the Gala apple and the Fuji apple. Those are the most common, although we grow others too. We'll revisit those apples in just a little while. I know the last time we were together, we talked a little bit, we learned about the life cycle of a pumpkin. So I thought I would review just a little bit since we're talking about the seasons and the life cycle during those seasons. So remember from our book, we learned that seeds are planted in the spring, and then they grow and grow throughout spring and summer and in the fall. And then by the end of fall, they are ready to harvest, or they're ripe, ready to harvest. If we remember, they're not all orange pumpkins, are they? Well, the same type of life cycle occurs for apples. So I've got a life cycle of an apple tree here. There are a few differences from the pumpkin. Now, they do, like pumpkins, start from seeds in the spring, and through the spring and summer, the seedling grows, the small plant, and then it grows a little bit bigger sapling, and then the tree gets bigger and bigger. Now, one of the differences between a pumpkin, when we plant a pumpkin seed in the spring, just a few months later, we get to harvest it and enjoy that pumpkin in the fall. With an apple tree, it's a little different. We do still plant with seeds, and it grows little through spring and the fall, spring and summer. But this tree, as it takes a lot longer to grow, it can take anywhere between 4 to 8 years for a tree to get mature enough to get blossoms, because what comes from those blossoms, just like the flower of the pumpkin vine turns into a pumpkin fruit, these apple blossoms turn into, is where the apple fruit grows. But this process here can take, this whole process here can take anywhere from 4 to 8 years before we start getting apples. So that's very different than the pumpkin life cycle. But we still have the same steps there. So through those seasons, those are all the different, how the plants are changing throughout the seasons. And in the heart, and we're going to focus today on those, the apples, which are another fall crop that grows all around the world. And we also learned in our book, the other thing, another difference we saw in our life cycles is that pumpkins grow on a vine. Where do apples grow? Do they grow on a vine? No, they grow on the tree. So plants can grow. They have basically the same type of life cycle. They can just grow at different rates and in different ways, whether it's a vine or a bush or a tree. So, my friends, I wanted to show you just a few of these extra apples that are so many. If you've been to the grocery store now, you'll see all different kinds, and they've got great names like Honeycrisp, and of course the Gala that we showed. This is called, I bet you know what this is called, a Granny Smith apple. And we've got Golden Delicious. Whoops, this is the Golden Delicious here, and an Opal. So you've got all different types of apples that have different flavors. and crunch, and the way they crunch are softer, or if they're crunchy. So it's lots of fun to try all the different kinds of apples. In your bag that you got the other day, in the kitchen fun part, I just like to make very simple apple sandwiches. And I've got a sample here. Our recipe shows both a sweet apple sandwich, and all an apple sandwich is to me is we've got a slice, we core the apple in the middle, take the core out, and then you can put any kind of nut butter or seed butter, and then I put raisins, and sometimes I put granola on top. And then you've got a sweet apple sandwich snack. Or the other way to do it, which is actually my favorite, is, where'd my knife go? Here it is first off we gotta core the apple. And what kind of apple was this? It was the Granny Smith, which is one of my favorites. It's nice and tart. So we gotta cut and you need to get your grown-up to help you with this, the coring part, because it can be a little tricky, but it will leave us with an apple ready. Whoop, the core came out. You see where the seeds are in there? Then all you need to do, and again, you can get help from your grown-up, is to slice, and you can slice those apple slices as thick or thin as you'd like. So now I have got 2 apple slices that are gonna go for my sandwich, my savory apple sandwich. So I like cheddar cheese, so I put cheddar cheese on mine, and then even sprinkle a few chopped up almonds. And then I have a savory apple snack. I'm not sure which one I'm going to eat first, but I bet I'll eat both of them very soon. So that is our fun in the kitchen snack today. And then the craft art activity that I sent, it's a nice, fun, whoa, almost lost an apple there. They're called apple shakers. And there's directions. The supplies and everything are on here. You got most of the supplies in your bag. And you're gonna make some apple shakers. And all you'll do is you've got 4 paper plates that I sent, so you can make actually 2. These are going to be an apple shaker. They're gonna be a bit like maracas, so you can make noise with them. But you can either use crayons or markers or paint to paint both back sides of the paper plates. So this is my sample that I did, and I used a marker, and I actually did one side like a Granny Smith apple, and I did the other side like my other favorite, Honeycrisp apple. And you could do whatever favorite type of apple you like. It could be yellow or red or green. And again, so you've got this. I also sent in the bag to you, there's some brown construction paper, and you can cut just an apple stem from there. So you've got both sides all colored, and then you'll take your stapler and staple pretty close together all along the edges of the paper plate. Except you want to leave just a little bit of an opening here at the bottom. And what that is for, those beans I sent, guess where they go? You pour them right in here, just a few, and then you staple this back up. You finish stapling up, and you gotta get them pretty close so those beans don't fall out. And then you have, my friends, an apple shaker, just like maracas. So this activity actually can be used with a little song that I'd like to sign off with, a little song and dance. So you need to get up out of that chair. We're gonna move a little bit. And I'm actually gonna use real apples since I happen to have them here. And so if you've got apples at home, great. If not, you can use your apple shakers. And this is how the song goes. So up and at 'em, you can use your two fists. These can pretend to be apples way up high in the apple tree. So I'm gonna take, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna take 2 red apples. So here we go, you can follow along and we'll do it more than once so you can listen up, but I want you moving. So it's called Way Up High in the Apple Tree. You may know it. Way up high in the apple tree, 2 red apples smiling down at me. I shook that tree as hard as I could, and down came an apple. All the way to the ground, down came an apple. It was good. So let's try that again, and I'm gonna use yellow apples this time. How's that? An opal and a golden delicious. Way up high in the apple tree, 2 yellow apples smiled down at me. I shook that tree as hard as I could. Down came apples. They are good. So you can repeat this one more time with our green apples. I got kind of a green. This is a Macintosh apple. So I'm going to say so long, sign off now. I'm going to sing one last time and you can join me. 2 green apples. Whoa, I said that wrong. Way up high in the apple tree. 2 green apples smiling down at me. I shook that tree as hard as I could. Down came an apple. And